Hi, my name is Micah. I started my channel to document my WGU MBA journey. Now I have 2 masters from WGU, and you guys are always asking me different questions in the comments, and I do my best to answer them, but I felt like this one deserved a video. The question that I get asked pretty frequently is how I became a product manager. So how I went from working in a call center to earning a 6-figure tech salary in a non-coding role. I worked at a large corporation in their call center handling like emergency response kind of stuff. And from there, I started to learn a little bit about the importance of data. So it was mostly like spreadsheets and things of that sort at that point. Learning how to do things like pivot tables, which probably seems really basic to a lot of you, but I just didn't have any knowledge about how to do that. I didn't even have my bachelor's degree at that point. So I was just trying to figure out life, and I knew nothing about the corporate world. And as I learned more and more, I figured out that data was really important. So I thought that I wanted to become a data analyst. But one of the things that I quickly discovered after being in a boot camp for data analytics was that wasn't going to earn me the salary that I wanted. And also, I didn't really enjoy it. I have dyslexia, and so coding is not really something that I'm very good at. I could be, but I don't like looking at something 100 times to make sure that I didn't make a mistake due to my dyslexia. So it's not really for me. So I started looking up other tech career fields, and one of the most prominent tech career fields at the time was product management. It was a non-coding role, and so I decided to do another boot camp, and I did product school, like that's the name of it, is product school. And I did a boot camp there. And while I was in that boot camp, I already had it on my resume and was applying for jobs. And towards the end of that boot camp, I got a job offer for a company to be a product manager for them. It was a really small company, and it was kind of just them taking a chance on me. And from there, I did not enjoy that job at all, but it got my foot in the door. I was only there for less than 6 months because it was terrible. Like, I pretty much immediately started looking for a job. It was a really toxic environment, things of that sort. So I, from there, went to work for a much larger corporation and was a product manager there. And that's where I actually got my first 6-figure salary. I had a high salary at that small firm. I had a decent salary, sorry. I had a decent salary at that small firm, but I wasn't earning 6 figures at the time. And, you know, I think that something really important is getting your foot in the door. If you have time to wait for that 6-figure salary, like, you can do that, but I needed a job and I needed my foot in the door. Being a product manager was more than I was making working in like a customer service type role. And so I decided from there to switch over to another company where I earned my first 6-figure salary. Now I've worked at 4 companies. I recently started a job, and so I've worked at 4 companies as a product manager, and a lot of that has been due to layoffs and then also working like contract roles in between. And they've all been large companies that I've worked for, and I have a little bit of advice for people who are looking at getting into product management. One, I do recommend learning as much as you can. I do think that boot camps can work. Now, will that get you into somewhere like Meta? Like, probably not. Something better for that would be going to, a top 30 MBA school and becoming a product manager from there. But if that's not what you want to do, then I recommend going and doing a boot camp to learn about product management, which I was learning on my own, and you can learn on your own. But that thing is, having that certificate, small companies might really care about that, right? So if you're looking to just get your foot in the door, that could be a good way to do it. Do I use what I learned in product school? Maybe 25 to 45% of what I learned in product school do I use. Everything else kind of went out the window, but I have learned a lot along the way. Another thing that I would highly recommend is getting a subscription to Exponent. I'll put it down in the description below, but that's what I use for interview prep. This last time I got a job within 2 months, I think, within like 60 days. And some of you were following along on my journey for that. And Exponent was where I was doing mock interviews and stuff. And so I really recommend going on there, doing some of their courses. I don't think that you need as much of like the logic questions and stuff from there, but basic behavioral interview kind of stuff is really helpful. Again, if you're looking to work at like Meta or something like that, then you would need things like the logic questions or the analytical questions. But you don't really need that kind of knowledge at most product management jobs. And mostly what they're looking for in those analytical questions anyway is just for the way that you think. And that's important, but it's not the be all end all. And like I said, a lot of these companies just aren't looking at those kinds of things. Most of the interviews that I have been through, actually all of the interviews that I have been through, I have never gotten asked how many golf balls can fit on a school bus, so I don't really recommend practicing those questions. I recommend practicing a lot of behavioral interview questions, as well as being able to talk about product experience. So taking any experience that you have, whether it's like in a customer service role like I was in, or whatever role you're in, and being able to shape that in a way that shows things like ownership, and being able to basically say, even though I haven't been a product manager, here's what I have done, and it relates to product management in this way. So that's really important. Also, look at getting into something that's in your current field. So if you're working like retail or something right now, try to get in with like small retailers. Also, another thing that you can do to get your foot in the door is volunteering to be a product manager for, maybe a startup or something like that, maybe some sort of internship or apprenticeship situation. Probably not apprenticeship, because while that would be fantastic, most of these companies just aren't going to have it. But if you're like, hey, I'm looking to get experience, I would love to help you out, a company might be willing to take a risk on you. And that's all you need. You just need one company to take a risk on you, because once you have product management on your resume, it's going to be 10 times easier to get your foot in the door at a larger corporation. So highly recommend just getting your foot in the door. Is the way that I'm saying the only way to get into product management? Absolutely not. But I do think it helped me. I became a product manager within 3 months of deciding that I wanted to be a product manager. The tech world is really turbulent right now. I realize that, but I don't think that you can't get a job as a product manager, and especially if you're willing to just get your foot in the door with a small firm. So that is what I recommend. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Have a great day.